Alright, so here in a review of the Ifi xDSD Gryphon. This is a $600 Bluetooth DAC amp by Ifi. This was sent to me by Ifi for review, but that of course doesn't change my opinions or anything like that. And yeah, let's get into this. Let's open the box up here. This. I will say that for $600, I would think a little bit of a more nicer presentation would have been better. I mean, I like the front packaging, the actual outer packaging, but this inner packaging looks a little bit not so premium. Take this, see for example, this bag, etc. Take this out of the bag. Take this kind of suede microfiber-ish kind of carry bag, I guess. It does come with an Ifi sticker and some paperwork you don't care about. There you go. Take that out. And you have a box here with the connection cables. Your cables for connecting to your phones, computers, etc. like that. Take that away. And then you have a little manual with indicating what is what and all that stuff. You can move all this stuff to the side. Alright. So yeah, the cables, they're nice and I like how short they are and I like the quality. I didn't have any problems with these cables. No issues at all with any of these ones that came with the Gryphon here. So yeah, we can just put this aside here. It does come with, let me actually say, this does come with a USB A to C for connecting to a computer with USB A. This has a USB C input. It has a USB C to Lightning for iPhone users, Apple users, and you got a C to C for USB C devices, Android devices, etc. Alright, so let's first talk about the unit's build. The build quality overall feels very premium. This feels like it's $600. It feels more than $600. It is mostly metal. This part feels like plastic, but almost all of it is metal. The knob feels very great to turn. Has a little bit of a noise. Let me see if I can get that on the microphone. Has like a kind of like a, not a ratcheting. It's like a soft, like, you know, you can feel it, but it's just tactile feedback on the knob. Feels great. Overall, the metal is cold to the touch. Very high quality. These are very useful silicone feet, which I'll talk about later. Overall, the buttons also feel great to press, etc. And yeah, overall build is great. This is very reflective, trying to give me another face reveal early. But I actually use this bag here to wipe that off throughout the review. Overall, it feels and looks fantastic. Build quality, excellent. As expected from Ifi, they always really do great build on their products. Alright, so now let's talk about the kind of the buttons, the layout, etc. So as I said, you have the volume knob up here. You hold this down to turn it on. You do have your input indicator and your X space indicator, which we'll talk about in a second, and all that. And the knob actually does glow. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. It is green right now. And this is kind of, from what I understand, to indicate how many turns you've done full. So you do one full turn, it's red. Okay, that's the max probably. Let me just go all the way to the beginning here. It also does have a number indicator on the front. You see, now it says mute because there's no, but now it goes up. See, it's blue. Do a full turn, it becomes pink. It's 30 now, full turn, like 50, let's see, 60, it's changing color, etc. So if you're not looking at these numbers, this can kind of tell you quickly how many times you've rotated the thing fully. But the number indicator is much more useful in my opinion. For the jump scare, I don't know where this is going to go in the video, but I forgot to mention this and I find it kind of important. I don't know how I forgot. But you can actually press on the knob to pause and play. And you can also double press for the next track and triple press for the last track. The instruction manual does say that for pressing it gives you the mute, but when I'm using music apps, that's what it does for me. I'm pretty sure that will work for most music apps on Android at least. I don't know what it does on iOS devices, but yeah. So if you're, and I think that, oh yeah, maybe because it's only for line mute, so I never used it. I never really pressed this for muting it. I would just lower it to 0, but if you are using this by Bluetooth, it is a very useful feature to just be able to press here to pause, press here to play, double press next track. I never did the 1, 2, 3 for the last track, kind of inconvenient. It would have actually been nice to have buttons maybe on the side or on here, maybe on the top like the M1S does, where you could have next track, last track, play pause. I guess play pause being here is fine, but a next track, last track dedicated button would have been nice. So that is another feature I do wish this had. But at least it is cool that they are taking advantage of having this button in the knob and having, you know, what do you call it, track playback controls. Anyway, back to wherever I was in the review. On the screen, actually, you do get a lot of useful information. You get the type of input you're getting it from. You're getting the Bluetooth codec you're using. Right now it's aptX adaptive. I hope it's not stopping the audio going to my phone right now because it's this is being filmed on my phone. It does have your volume number and your battery indicator. Okay, and so now let's move on to the front panel here where you have the input button. This input button here will change the input from your your S/PDIF, your line in, USB in, Bluetooth. I use this mostly with Bluetooth and line in. I'm going to turn this to just that so it disconnects from my phone here. I did use this mostly wirelessly because this product brought back my faith in wireless DAC amps. I really didn't like Bluetooth DAC amps for a really long time, but the rep at IFI told me this is his favorite unit that they have, and I was like, okay, I really got to try that then. And they sent it over, and it really sounds excellent over Bluetooth. It really sounds barely like it's a Bluetooth connection. It really sounds wired, practically. It's practically unable to tell the difference between wired and wireless with this, especially when you're running it through LDAC. Because if you go to Bluetooth, as you can see, it is Bluetooth adaptive, or, well, now it's trying to connect, but it was Bluetooth adaptive. You can go in your phone, or if you have an Android phone, in the settings, especially in, I think some phones they go in the dev settings, you can specifically specify I want it to connect with LDAC, and it will use only LDAC, or you can use only SBC, whatever codec you want. This does support the majority of codecs, aptX adaptive, aptX HD, SBC, and LDAC, so it's got it all when it comes to the connections. Alright, back to the rest of the front. You have, of course, a 3.5 that seems to have a balanced, actually balanced connector for 3.5, which is very rare. I've never seen that. Actually, I have seen it, but like, I mean, I've never really used it. But yeah, it does have that, and then it has a 4.4 balanced, of course, here, which is what I mainly used it with. It does have here your, this is for XBass and XBass. So pretty much IFI has pretty much their signature thing with all their audio products where they have XBass and XBass. When you click the button, you can see you activated XBass. Sorry. You activated XBass, and this kind of boosts the bass a little bit, but without getting boomy. It's not EQ, it's analog, according to their site. It is an analog bass increase, and I've used it, and I think it is very clean and very, how do you say? It's not a gimmick. It's a very slight but nice increase without making any bloat, or it doesn't sound like actually what it would sound like when I try to EQ my bass up, etc. Yeah, it's very tasteful increase in the bass. Anyway, and then also has XBass. This is supposed to increase the soundstage. It does a little bit, but I never really liked what XBass did to the sound. I didn't like it on the Go Bar, and I don't still like it on here. But the XBass I do love. It is a feature I used often while using this device. And I love the XBass feature on IFI products. One of my favorite things about IFI sources. Now on this back part here, you have a switch for IE match. This is pretty much like their gain switch. You know, you wanna change the gain to lower gain, you switch it to that port. So this would be the 4.4. 4.4 is now going to be in low gain. They call IE match probably I think for IEMs, but I don't really use it because I don't really see a necessity for using IE match. I didn't find any benefit in the audio quality. So yeah, I actually want to talk now about these silicone feet here really quick because I underestimated the usefulness of these. So I've been using this for a while. I've been using this for like half a month. Sorry IFI for how long this took me to get out, but I do love the unit. When setting this down here, okay, whenever I would go to a table or something, I could take this out of my pocket, set it down on a table, and the knob is easily accessible. Of course, you have your information displayed on the top. And then, I'm not going to do it too hard because I don't want to shake my setup here, but if I am not pushing anything down, only side to side, as you can see, if I push here, it's very hard to push to the left and right. Like it keeps really good friction. I'm shaking my camera and the whole desk right now by doing that. But yeah, it keeps a really good grip on the surface that it's on, and it's been very useful. I love that they have these silicone feet. It seems like such a small thing, but I love it. Now, I want to go into the cons a little bit before I go into the sound. It's a very slight thing. The weight, I don't like how heavy this is, but it's honestly not that different from most of the other products on the market. It is a little bit heavier than my M3X though. This does feel heavier than this, but this is bigger, of course. It is around the same weight as my DX300, which is interesting. This is a very dense feeling, heavy unit, but it's still fine to keep in your pocket, just that it's something to have of note. You know, it's not like it's gonna weigh you down heavily, but it is it has a substantial weight. You can feel it definitely. But that's wasn't a big issue for me, but I thought it's something I should note. Another thing, something that this is more of a want. This is definitely not a con because no other product does this, but I just really want a product to do this. I wish this had wireless charging. That would be so awesome to just be able to set this down on a wireless charger and have it charge. I did this to my M3X. I put like a little wireless charging adapter. But yeah, that would be really awesome if this could have a wireless charger in it, but it doesn't. It doesn't like have that. Most things don't have that. It's just something I wish it did have. Other than that, I really couldn't think of any cons. Overall, it's a very just well-rounded unit. Now let's get into the sound. What you care about here. Oh, and another con. I forgot, probably the most important con actually, is power. So this had enough power to run any IEM I wanted to throw on it. Okay, that's fine. IEMs, this did the job perfectly. But for headphones, it has trouble with a little bit of the higher to drive headphones than, for example, my DX300 will. The DX300 is 2 times the price. So I'm not blaming this unit for that or anything like that, but I still wish it would have had more power because I love the sound on this so much. It would have been awesome to be able to drive my harder to drive headphones with sound that's this clean. And it's just got a great sound. I'll explain in a second. I love the way this sounds. But it's just not as powerful as the DX300. It's got around the same power as the M3X, maybe a little bit more. So it's not a very powerful unit. It's not going to drive very hard to drive headphones, but for easier to drive headphones, I'd say less than the 650 or HD600 preferably in hard to driveness, this will do fine. IEMs, almost all of them, or probably all of them will be fine. But for headphones, I would say $600. This is not the best unit if you're going to only use it with headphones. If you want to do both, maybe, but for this is better for IEMs. Also, another thing is that this is just great in general, even if you were to consider this as just a desktop unit because of those rubber feet and just the accessibility from the top. I did want to mention that I think that that's a pretty cool thing as well, that you could literally just buy this as a desktop unit, and honestly, that's a pretty well worth your money, honestly. For $600 you're getting a great sound from here. So let me talk about that now. Actually, I'm actually going to keep this here and compare the two, because this is so good that I don't have to compare it with the M3X. It destroyed the M3X in every single aspect. M3X sounded terrible after I listened to this. But M3X I think is cheaper, so that's not really much of a comparison, but I did want to say this sounds a lot better than the M3X. Now, compared to the DX300, this is what I use daily. I test all my IEMs on this channel with this. This is what I use at home. But ever since I got this from IFI, I've been using this when I go outside. I was using the M3X before. I switched to this immediately after hearing its fantastic sound quality. And also it's very convenient. I had no Bluetooth disconnects, anything like that. Almost ever. Maybe one time it quickly just disconnected for a second and reconnected. The Bluetooth connection is very strong and reliable on this thing. I forgot to mention that too. Okay, sound. Okay, now we're going into sound for real. I will say this sound actually is more on the warmer side. Of course, it's not making all your IEMs warm or headphones warm overall, but it's got a warmer tint to it it's not exactly as analytical as the DX300 is. The DX300 sounds a bit more stereo, but it's also cleaner, wider, a little bit more open. This still has a really nice wide sound, but it's a little bit warmer, and especially in the trebles, a little bit less like a treble extension from this than I got from this. Not much different, of course, but we're talking sources here. So if we're gonna talk sources, is more about like the subtle changes. This is gonna have a bit of a more transparent treble performance. This is going to be a little bit of a warmer sounding source. Overall though, this sounds almost as good as this, maybe as good as this. On some occasions I prefer this, on some I prefer this one. For testing things, if I want to be 100% analytically analyzing something, I'm going to choose this. But if I want something fun sounding, if I want a more like this is a more fun sounding source, which is weird to say, but it sounds more musical, more it's just not as analytical and like it's not as sterile as this is. This still sounds very nice. I love my DX300, but this often when using my DX300 at home, I would be like, I kind of actually want to use this now, especially because of its X-Bass feature, but we'll get into that in a second as well. But overall, the sound on this is well worth $600. Now, if you have a Go Bar and you're planning on using this wired and say, oh, is this a worth an upgrade over the Go Bar? Honestly, not really. It's not worth spending $300 more over the Go Bar to get the Gryphon if you're just talking sound quality. It's not a $300 jump. But feature-wise, of course, you're getting a ton more features on here. It's got a battery, it's Bluetooth, it's got a knob, it's just overall, it's much more featured than this is. And so as an overall package, is it worth an upgrade? Yes, but that's only really, I think, if you're using the Bluetooth features, or if you plan on using, like, if you need the knob, you want this better, like, you want this layout like a desktop layout. This is not really going to work as well as a desktop thing. This is, of course, going to do that job better, and has that indicator, of course. If you are just talking about sound quality, the Go Bar is a better value sound quality wise. I think the Go Bar is really an excellent sound quality, like for money, like, excellent value for sound quality. But as like an overall package, this is an excellent value as for what it's for. If we're talking just sound though, it's not a worth it to upgrade from here to here for $300. It is an upgrade. It is, I'd say, like a I don't know, I'm not gonna give it really a percentage. If you really want a percentage, maybe 20% better, 10% better. But this is not for sound upgrade. This is a unit, as a package upgrade with the battery, with the Bluetooth, all that, the features. Anyway, so now I'm gonna go on to xBass, because that's like I think a lot of people really like that feature about IFI. That's what I like about IFI's stuff. Oh, I didn't know that this stood like that. That's awesome. Okay, perfect. This is gonna be great for showing you guys. So when turning on xBass, I find that this is tasteful usually for IEMs that are a bit on the bass light side, of course, because if it's already on the bass heavy side, it is not that it increases it like a lot. It only is a slight increase, but it does tighten up the bass, which I enjoy. Even on the Rinko, actually, I use this a lot with the Rinko, and the Rinko is a bass heavy IEM. Like when I'm outside, it's still tasteful sometimes to just turn on the xBass. It still sounds good, clean, and not overemphasized, because this doesn't really increase it as much as you'd expect a button that says xBass to do. It more tightens it, makes it higher quality sounding to me. I don't know how it does that. I don't know how, but it makes it sound cleaner, give it more punch, makes it tighter. And overall, the xBass feature is fantastic, but every once in a while you want to turn it off. You don't want as much bass on something that's like a classical music. You're not going to keep this on. So it is very nice to have. It's just a feature. Having the feature is really excellent. xBass though, I don't like what it does to the sound. It kind of distorts the sounds, kind of stretches it out to me. It makes it sound a little thin. I don't like what xBass does to the sound personally. But if you like what it does, it's there. It's great. And you can have both on at the same time too. I didn't like that either. So really for me, it was no xBass or xBass. That's what I used this on. Because xBass is a great feature. xBass, I don't really see the use for it. I don't really enjoy it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this unit. I think that this is absolutely worth the money at $600. It is an excellent value. It's got a great build. I've had to only charge this twice, maybe once only, maybe once or twice per week, and that's using it maybe 5 times a week. So I mean, charge it once every 4 days, I'd say. Which is excellent battery life in my book. I mean, I think that's great battery life for a Bluetooth product like this, and I mean for like a lot of usage throughout the day. The knob is great quality, feels great to turn, has really great sound quality. The power is good enough for any IEM. Wouldn't say for headphones as much. And also I forgot to mention there's like a turbo. You can go above 100 to 106. I didn't really use that, but it didn't distort when I used it. I did test it, of course. When I did use it, didn't distort or anything like that. But I guess they just wanted for like just to be sure, just have it say turbo instead of just making it part of the percentage. But overall sound quality, build, overall in the hand feels great. Just everything about this unit is quality. Is it worth $600? Yes, absolutely. I love this set, and I can't really think of anything else to say here, so that's about it. Thanks. See ya.